morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Crafting Journey here. That Journey Chick on Instagram. How is your week going so far? My Monday was not so good. Had a little meltdown at work. Luckily, I was working from home, so the only person that knew about my meltdown was my best friend, Mickey. She talked me through it, talked me off the ledge. Thank you. Um, you know, the older you get, the less you feel appreciated. I feel like, I have all this knowledge and education, and people are like, okay, you'll be good at data entry. Okay, but you know what? I'm going to roll with it because, oh my God, I forgot to get my coffee. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. We all have our priorities here. Mm-hmm. All right, I have my coffee. So where was I going with that story? Um, oh, because I have 7 more years to retirement, I'm just gonna go with the flow. You want to pay me to do data entry? I'll do data entry. Yes, there we go. That's out of my system. Uh, I'm trying to think what else is new. Oh, I worked on my hooded scarf. I'm like 4 rows into it, so progress is happening. Didn't do much diamond painting yesterday. Like I said, I was kind of in a mood. I actually picked up the Switch and played Animal Crossing for, all of maybe 10 minutes. And then I remembered why I was so bored with the thing. I don't know. I find it a little boring. I'm sorry. I know you guys just love it. Love, love, love it. But I find it a little boring. And, I keep thinking, okay, if I keep playing it, maybe it'll get a little bit more exciting. But no. There are no dinosaurs that are going to come after me or that I can tame or, I'm used to games like that. Or, games where I can build stuff, and I guess there is some building parts to this game, but I think it's more collecting. I'm not sure. I know I should play it more and figure it out, right? Look, a girl and her animals. Yes, because I'm gonna have 2 more animals, 2 more kittens. So this morning I was on Chewy.com and I wanted to order a scratching post, and they have every one that I clicked on, it would say out of stock, unavailable right now. So I have a feeling they're not selling any scratching posts at Chewy.com. Or maybe they're too expensive to ship, so I'll just go to Walmart and get one. But I did order some cat dishes. Yeah, cat dishes. Because they were on sale, buy one, get one 50% off for these ceramic bowls. So I just ordered a couple of ceramic bowls for the kitties. Now, hopefully the dogs won't be jealous because the kitties have new bowls. But we shall see. Then I got to find a place to put the cat food where the dogs can't get it. Because that wouldn't be a good thing. I bought some treats for the dogs. They were on sale. What are they called? Bacon. I don't know. They look like bacon. And it's a Purina product. So I've been giving the dogs each evening, every evening they want their treat. So I've been giving them a couple slices of this bacon. And they're just gobbling it down. And then I notice, Jake is allergic to corn. And if he eats corn, he starts getting blood in his stool. And so I noticed he was having some bloody stools. And I'm like, oh, No. So I go and I look at the ingredients for the bacon, um, and it's corn. It's made out of corn. And I'm like, damn it. So I can't give those to him anymore. So I ordered some of the chewy milk bone stuff that he likes, and that seems to be okay for him. So annoying. Why do they put corn in the dog food? Stop it. Dogs, nobody, not even humans, were meant to eat corn. It doesn't digest. And my dog is allergic to it. Oh well. It is National Eat What You Want Day. Yes, there is a National Eat Whatever You Want Day. I, I didn't have a lot to choose from today. So I chose this one. We're all getting ready to do this step challenge and, hopefully start eating healthier goes along with that. So that starts June 1st. So this will make this day out of the year, May 11th, the day to eat whatever you want. And then tomorrow, you eat healthy again. So if you could eat anything you wanted today, what would it be? This is going to sound really crazy, but I think it was Sharon in one of the Zoom meetings yesterday. She mentioned, one of the subscribers shared uh, that for Mother's Day, someone cooked her a steak. Now, I have not had a good steak in forever. You know, one that's well marinated and nice and tender and cooked medium. Actually, I like my medium well. Um, I know that sounds strange. I should go for a dessert or something, but when she mentioned steak, I was like, ooh, I I honestly can't remember the last time I ate a steak. Honestly, Outback has great steaks. Oh, this has got me thinking. Hmm. I could just go to the grocery and buy a steak, but the best kind of steaks are grilled. I like grilled steaks. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get find out where there's an Outback and get a takeout order or something. I don't know. But that's what I would want. What would you want? Put in the comments, if you have anything you want today, what would you want? Like, this is the day to indulge yourself. So, is it a decadent dessert, or is it a steak, or maybe a lobster? What would you indulge in if you could eat anything you want? Oh yeah, I would have, my like this meal. The appetizer would be, beefsteak, tomatoes, and mozzarella with some pesto sauce, and then that would be my appetizer. Then for the meal, I would have, a like a nice, what do they call those? That's how long it's been since I had a steak. A filet, filet mignon, and marinated well, like I said, with a baked potato with cheese and butter melting on it, and these and big yeast rolls. Now, of course, I would not be able to eat all this. It would probably be about 3 meals for me. I have a very small stomach, so I would probably have to divide all that up to 3 meals. But oh, it just sounds so delicious, doesn't it? Okay, I need to get off this topic, don't I? Yes, I do. So, all right, don't forget to leave a comment. What would your indulgence be? It's eat anything you want day. Okay, let's talk about judge, jury, and jury. We're going to finish up the Dee Dee Blanchard murder trial. Yesterday, I went over closing arguments. Both sides had really good arguments. But here is where I fell if I'm putting myself in place of the juror, I'm going through the jury instructions specifically, and I'm answering the questions in the jury instructions. Did he cause the death of Dee Dee Blanchard? Did Nicholas Godejohn cause the death of Dee Dee Blanchard with a knife? Yes, he did. He stabbed her. He caused her death. Did he know that his conduct would cause her death? Oh, yeah. No question he knew that. I mean, this was well planned out, well planned out. So, yes, he knew that he was going to cause the death of Dee Dee Blanchard. So that's, check on the second element. Third element, did he do so after deliberation, cool reflection upon the matter for any length of time? And even I think the prosecution in their rebuttal, I don't know if you watched the link. I fast forwarded the link so that it would start right where you needed to see that little clip. Um, it was a lot of deliberation on his part. Now, I agree with the defense closing argument that he has autism, that he's on the spectrum, whether it's a level 1, level 2, whatever, but I think he clearly knew right from wrong, and that he knew what he was doing, and he deliberated about it. He had some cool reflection, time to think about it, on multiple occasions. So, as a juror, I would have to say guilty, first degree murder. It is what it is. Yes, first degree murder. Well, the jury deliberated. Now, the jurors deliberated. This was a Friday afternoon that they get the case. They spent 2 hours deliberating. I don't know that it would have taken me that long. But they spent 2 hours deliberating, and they came back with a verdict of, we, the juror, in the above entitled action, find the defendant guilty of first degree murder. He was found guilty. Now, some of you ask about Gypsy Blanchard. Gypsy was charged with second degree murder, and she took a plea deal. She went ahead, pled guilty. So there was no trial of Gypsy Blanchard. She went ahead, pled guilty, took the plea deal. She got 10 years. Her sentence was 10 years in jail. She will be eligible for parole in 2024. Nicholas Godejohn was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The prosecution did not seek the death penalty for him. I don't know what the reasoning was for that, but in any case, he is in prison for the rest of his life. Now, if you want to leave a comment, let me know what you think of the verdict. It was a very interesting case, but I have a new case. This one is actually a live trial that started yesterday in Tallahassee, Florida. I found this fascinating. I ran this by one of my subscribers, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I want to hear about that." So, this is the trial of Zachery Wester. He is a former sheriff's deputy with the Jackson County Police Department, or Sheriff's Department, Jackson County Sheriff's Department in Florida. Now, I lived in Florida for 40 some years, and I have no idea where this Jackson County is. So I had to look this up. So Jackson County is right on the border of Dothan, Alabama. So north of this county in Florida is Alabama. And then to the south would be Panama City, and to the east, or kind of southeast, would be Tallahassee. So the case is being tried in Tallahassee. This man has been charged with like a number of charges, like a great deal of charges, too numerous to mention them all, but not the least of which is racketeering, uh, possession of controlled substances, false imprisonment. I mean, he's been charged with over 60 crimes against 12 people. Um, what he was doing was he would pull people over for a traffic stop, and then he would plant drugs on them. Allegedly, we're going to find out what the evidence shows. Um, we're going to see in this trial a lot of body cam footage, so I will try to describe that as best I can for you. Um, So yesterday I listened to the opening arguments of the prosecution and the defense. The opening argument for the prosecution, um, as they do with what they did with Derek Chauvin, they also did with this guy. They talked about his oath of office, that he swore to protect and defend, and blah blah blah. Um, yes, he signed the oath, and that's always a good way to start out your case against a police officer. Then he talks about. Oh, Jake's itching today. Then he talks about the prosecutor. One of the people that was pulled over, her name was Teresa Odom. She was pulled over because her brake lights were not working properly. And he asked her, "Can I search your vehicle?" And she's like, "Yeah, I don't have anything to hide. Go ahead, search my vehicle." So she goes over and she leaves, she gets out of her vehicle, goes over and stands by the backup officer, who also has a body cam. So we're going to see that body cam footage. Um, and lo and behold, he finds a bag of methamphetamines in her car, along with a spoon on the floorboard of her car. Now, supposedly, when we watch the body cam, we're going to be able to see that he's hiding something in his hand as he's putting his gloves on. Um, and she says, "Oh, that's my spoon that I use for my yogurt." Can you test this for yogurt? And he's like, we don't do tests for yogurt in the field, hun. Well, I don't know if he called her hun. I said that. But so that is just one of the 12. So apparently, what we're going to see is lots of partial videos because supposedly this officer's body cam was not working properly, but he never reported it. He never, the policy says if your body cam does not record everything for any reason, you need to put that in the report. He never did. Um, and the prosecution admits that, of these 12 people, 7 of those people took plea deals. They actually pled guilty, or maybe no contest to these charges of possession. And he says, it's because those victims, they felt powerless. They felt, it was going to be his word against theirs. And they took, they had to get back to their families. They had lives to get back to. They just wanted it to be over with. So they took the plea deal. That happens a lot of times in criminal cases. People will take plea deals just to get things over with. And it's a horrible, horrible idea. I never recommend anybody take a plea deal without, especially if you're innocent, without, consultation with a good attorney, not the court-appointed public defender that has only 3 minutes to give you advice. Because I used to do that I was a public defender. I was an intern in the public defender's office for a semester in law school, and I saw this happen to so many people. They would offer a plea deal. It was my job to convey the plea deal, and I would just you have to make the best decision for yourself. You don't have a lot of time to advise these people. So, 9 times out of 10, they're like, how how am I ever going to win this thing? I'm facing X amount of years in prison if I say not guilty. So I'm going to take the plea. So I'm interested to see how this thing plays out. What happened was eventually, like none of these people ever reported this guy. They never complained, to police. There were no complaints ever filed against this guy. But it comes to the attention of internal affairs, and they start investigating him. And within 2 weeks, they find so much evidence of crimes that they decide to turn it over to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, to an outside agency to continue the investigation. At one point, they impound his police vehicle, but they don't search it for a few months. I mean, several weeks go by before they decide, oh, well, let's go search his vehicle. They open the trunk of this police car, and under a panel in the trunk was a brown paper sack. And in this brown paper sack, I mean, it was an evidence bag. You're supposed to, if there's evidence in there, you're supposed to mark where you got it and, do the chain of evidence thing. Well, there was no markings on this bag. But inside of the bag were 10 items of methamphetamine, 5 items of marijuana, a syringe, 2 plastic knives, rolling papers, and baggies that you could put more methamphetamine in. Wow. Now, I suspect that this guy's going to claim he collected it in some kind in a crime. It was something he confiscated, but in anticipation, the prosecution is allegedly going to put on evidence that they went through all of this guy's reports, and it was never reported that this was evidence he collected off of anybody. So interesting. Wonder where he got it. So now the defense opening argument, I was not so impressed. You're having a rough day, huh? Yeah, he's probably not feeling good after the bacon. So yeah, I wasn't so impressed with the defense opening argument. He starts out by talking about the different levels of, certainty that you have to find your verdict with. It's not based on preponderance of the evidence or clear and convincing evidence. It's based on beyond a reasonable doubt. So he gives that whole speech. Everybody knows that. But then he starts out by saying, this is a case of numbers. He says, here's the number you're going to hear. 7 people took pleas. 11. I can't read my own writing. What did I write there? I have no idea. 0 complaints were filed. 33. He says you're going to hear 33 crimes of felony dishonesty. He says this is what I want you guys to do during this trial. As these different 12 people take the stand, many of them, have felony convictions for crimes involving dishonesty. So I want you to evaluate their credibility very carefully. So in other words, he wants the jury to believe that they're all lying. And that there were 11 backup officers. Oh, now I remember what I wrote there. 11 backup officers, also with body cams, watching this guy, and none of them ever reported seeing anything suspicious. In broad daylight, some of these, or maybe all of them, I don't know. And 11 of them are suing the police department in civil court for, being wrongfully imprisoned, I suspect. So those are the opening arguments in this case. Let me know how interesting you think this is going to be. I think it's going to be fascinating. You know, it's not murder. We're going to get away from murder for a little while. We're going to take a break from murder, and we're going to go with racketeering. And I mean, how horrible is it that like these are guys that you trust. You should be able to trust a police officer. And now we're finding out, you know, wow, you don't, who can you trust? You know, you get pulled over for a traffic stop. Oh my God. And this is a very rural county, very rural. So I can only imagine the type of people that he's pulling over. You know, this is probably very country people. You know, it's just south of Alabama, you know, up in the panhandle of Florida. You know, this is not people with a lot of wealth that are able to fight these things. So this trial is anticipated to last a couple of weeks. So I think it'll be a good break from murder. Do, 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 do. I'm changing up the tune. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. What is going on with this thing? Oh, okay. All right, what is next? This day in history. History. I found a really interesting case for this day in history. This happened in 1946 in France. This was a alleged French serial killer known as the Queen of Poisoners. Uh, so on this day in history, her husband's body, Leon, was exhumed after many deaths in this woman's family. Someone finally writes to the cops and says, you know, I think she might have poisoned her husband. So they exhume his body on this date in history, and they find lethal levels of arsenic in his body. So let me tell you the story of this woman. She married her husband Leon in 1929. Now, her previous husband died of, I don't remember what, some disease. But later, his body is exhumed and they find arsenic. Yeah. So she's charged with his murder. And now we've got her ex-husband, her current husband. So more to the story though. This couple, you know, when she was married to Leon, they really resented that, you know, they were having to live very modestly when all around them there were rich relatives. His parents, they were quite wealthy. So they moved them into their house. They said, oh, come on, come live with us. So they moved in and they lived with Marie and Leon. And soon after moving in, the father dies. And I don't remember what the explanation for that death was, but yeah, he passes away. Then shortly after that, the mother passes away. So now we're up to 4 here. And, you know, no one is suspecting a thing so far. But they're in their will, they leave all their money to Leon and Leon's sister. So shortly after that, Leon's sister commits suicide. I felt a drill. Leon's sister commits suicide. That's 5. So Leon gets all the money. Then they meet this couple, this wealthy couple who are childless, and they invite them to come live with them. Oh, come live with us. And this couple are so moved by the generosity of Marie and Leon that they change their will and they leave everything to Marie. And they pass away. one after the other. So what are we up to? That's 7. I don't know if I'm going to get all of these in. Then, oh, I dropped my tweezers. Then Marie has these wealthy aunts who she moves into the house. And the aunts, one of the aunts dies after mistaking a bowl of lye for dessert. Now, how in the world would that possibly happen? How do you mistake a bowl of lye for dessert? Now, she was in her 80s. She was like 89 years old. So she passes away. And then her sister, who's 83, just a few weeks later, does the exact same thing. Mistakenly eats a bowl of lye thinking it's dessert. I don't know what they thought they were eating. So she dies. And the will leaves everything to Marie. Yeah, so I think now we're up to what, 9? There's 2 more. Let me find the other 2. All in all, there was 13 murders. I read somewhere else it was 11, but this article is saying 13. So she gets put on trial for 13 arsenic. They were all poisoned with arsenic. You know, once they get this tip about Leon dying, and she killed Leon because she found out Leon was having an affair with the neighbor. Because Leon was in on most of the poisonings, I presume. So he starts having an affair with the neighbor. So she starts giving Leon the arsenic. So someone turns in, you know, someone, it may have been the neighbor that he was having an affair with, goes to the police, says, hey, you know, I think Leon was poisoned. They exhume his body on this day, May 11th in history. And then when they find arsenic, then they exhume all the other bodies and they find arsenic, including her ex-husband. So she goes to trial, and her defense attorneys do a really good job of discrediting the evidence, the scientific evidence. Now, keep in mind, this is in the 40s, you know, and the person who they had on the stand just wasn't able to articulate well enough, you know, the science between how the evidence was collected. And they were saying, well, couldn't the arsenic have come from the soil around the bodies? And so the judge adjourns the trial and says, I need to think about this for a while. So then he resumes the trial later, you know, years later, he resumes it again. Once again, same thing, they discredit the evidence, and he adjourns, and he says, I can't make a decision. We'll pick this up later on. I've never heard of this, but I guess this is in France. So at this point, she's been in jail for many years, so he lets her get bail. So she makes bail, she gets out. They don't bring her back to trial. Now, keep in mind, she killed her husband Leon in 1946. 1949. They don't bring her back for the third trial. They call them separate trials. For the third time until 1961. 1961, they bring her back, and she's acquitted. So she basically got away with 13 poisonings. And there's been books written about it. There was there was a French movie that won some awards about this case. If I knew how to speak French, I'd watch them, because I think it's an interesting case. But she got away with it, and she passed away in 1980. Lived the rest of her life free, passed away in 1980. Hopefully nobody else got poisoned. Like, if I was around her after that, I'd be like, no, thank you. I don't want any tea. No, thanks. No, invited for lunch? I don't think so. I'll pass. I'll just catch something on the way home. Yeah. I'm going to stop by McDonald's. Yes. They have McDonald's in France. I'm sure of it. Weird story. So that is this day in history. Yep. Oh, I gotta go to work. Gotta go to work. Work. Guys, I enjoyed bringing you the content today. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Ring the bell when you want to know when I have another video posted. I still have another. I can't talk. I still have another unboxing to film. I haven't filmed it. I know, I'm so lazy. And two things going on. Both forms are in the Crafting Journey Facebook group. The first one is the signups for the mystery diamond painting. Lots of fun. So far we've got almost 30 people. We do have 31 people signed up for the mystery diamond painting. That deadline for that is the end of May. The other sign up form is for the the Crafter's 90-day step challenge. Do you hear it? I heard it. Yes. Sign up for that. Yes, we're going to put all the people on teams, and I'm going to tell you, we already have a ton of people signed up. We're going to put everybody on a team. The team captains are Jennifer Roberts with DP Addiction Adventures, Tia with Tia's Crazy Craft Addictions, Crystal with Crystal's Crafty Creations, Crashly with Crashly's Crafting Crashly. You know, everybody knows Crashly, and myself. So we're going to put you on one of the teams, and our goal is to encourage you and enable you and support you in getting healthy again after, we're on the other side of this COVID pandemic thing now, and lots of us gained weight, and we want to get healthy again. We're not going to talk about dieting. Nope. You guys make healthy choices on your own, but we're going to see how many steps we can get in, and your goal should just be to get a few more steps tomorrow than you did today. Yeah, so sign up for that. Both of the forums are in the Crafting Journey Facebook group, and you do have to answer a couple of questions if you want to get into the Facebook group. If you're new, please don't hesitate to answer those questions. I have moderators that will not let you in if you don't answer the questions, and that's on my instructions. It's to keep out the bots. So that's the show for today, guys. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow in the morning show. Bye.